Khamzat Chimaev reacts to Alex Pereira's call-out. Alex Pereira is open to a fight with Khamzat Chimaev, but on two conditions. The rivalry between the two UFC champions has been building for some time. Middleweight champ Chimaev had previously expressed willingness to move up to 205 pounds to face Potin, before going on to defeat Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. The matchup grew even more intriguing after Pereira knocked out Magomed Ankalaev to reclaim the light heavyweight belt. In a recent Instagram post, Pereira and his coach Glover Teixeira filmed a short skit playfully responding to Chimaev, putting forward a surprising challenge of their own and adding another twist to the ongoing saga.
Chimaev.
Porra, velho. Pô, vai falar de Chimaev, velho. Pô, esse cara, pô, fala de lutar comigo. Pô, tem que chegar, entendeu? Pô, não tô... Tá longe, velho. Tá longe. Mas eu posso, né, fazer um desafio aí, lutar na área dele, se ele quiser. Olhar, deixa eu olhar. Vamos lutar na sua área, então. Pô, vamos lutar no grappling, então. Pô, e outra. A gente pode lutar no UFC, né? Tá passando, tem um evento do UFC, né? Agora, né? O jiu-jitsu lá, tá. Pô, vamos fazer isso aí, então. Vamos fazer acontecer. E outra. Eu nem sei quanto que eu vou ganhar, mas é uma grana boa, né? Pô, tá ligado? Quem sou eu, né? Uma grana boa. E essa grana vai ser doada 100% pra caridade. Tá bom pra você? Chama.
Chimaev later responded on social media, taking a shot at Teixeira and saying, "Uncle, you need rehab." Who would win if Alex Pereira fought Khamzat Chimaev? Joe Rogan responds to Ronda Rousey's criticism. Joe Rogan has heard Ronda Rousey's recent comments about him, and he's taking them in stride. During a podcast with Rogan's friend Bert Kreischer, Ronda Rousey criticized his MMA expertise, saying he is not an expert, he's a fan with an audience. She added that despite Rogan's background in Taekwondo, he never fought because apparently Taekwondo's not fighting. On a recent episode of his own podcast, Rogan addressed Rousey's remarks, responding thoughtfully and keeping his calm and humorous outlook while weighing in on the debate about experience versus commentary in MMA.
She's a legend. I mean, I got nothing but love and respect for that lady. What she did was so impressive. She was the first legitimate female superstar. She made the UFC female division possible. If it wasn't for her, Dana was very open about never having female UFC fighters. It took someone that was that dynamic, that was that special, to open his eyes and go, you know what? I think this lady's a star. And to be the type, like when she said, like, I wasn't an expert, everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know, but you got to understand why she thinks like that. Because she has a champion mentality. You never fought, you ain't shit. You know, it's like, it's real simple.
That's why the football guys always say that. You didn't play? You're like, yeah, but I studied the sport.
Doesn't matter, you ain't shit. I get it. It's totally fine.
Rogan was one of Ronda Rousey's biggest supporters during her UFC run from 2013 to 2016, but he insinuated that his commentary during Rousey's one-sided beatdown at the hands of Amanda Nunes may be the reason for her outburst.
I was a huge supporter, and still am, but when you watch a fight and you're watching you get your ass kicked, and the other person is talking about how great the other person is doing and how bad you're doing, that doesn't sit well with a lot of people, especially like someone who's got that kind of champion mentality, that fucking pit bull mentality. Like, I thought you were with me.
Yeah. After Ronda Rousey took shots at Joe Rogan, Valentina Shevchenko stepped in to defend him. She praised Rogan's fight analysis and the way he breaks down techniques for fans. At a recent press conference, Shevchenko doubled down on her support, explaining exactly why she spoke up.
And I like Ronda. I like her lifestyle, being like close to the nature, to animals, like farm and everything like that. She's great champion, but I feel in this particular case, it was not right to say these things, what she said, because Joe Rogan, he is true example for the youth. He is true martial artist. He has a lot of knowledge in martial arts, and he's a successful man. He is like musician, very talented, and it's just not right to say that things. And I felt like when there is no justice, no, it's something wrong.
Dana White shares if prime Conor McGregor would have smashed Khabib. Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov have been rivals for as long as MMA fans can remember. Their clash at UFC 229 saw Khabib dominate and secure a fourth-round submission victory. Many argue that Khabib faced a version of McGregor that wasn't at his absolute prime, suggesting that a 2015 McGregor might have changed the outcome. Dana White was recently asked about this very scenario, and here's what he had to say.
I mean, if McGregor fought Khabib, you think like before he made the money and he was hungrier and sharper, You think it might have been he would have had a better shot?
No, I think that
Or something similar, you think?
the hatred between those two,
Yeah.
Conor wanted to win that fight bad. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think Conor trained hard and did all the right things
Right.
to win that fight.
So what Dana White is saying is that he believes McGregor was in peak shape and fully prepared for UFC 229. The issue wasn't Conor, it was Khabib. He was simply too skilled that night, and he even enjoyed dismantling his longtime rival in the octagon. Khabib says he enjoyed beating McGregor. Whether McGregor could have beaten Khabib or not will always be up for debate, and he says he actually enjoyed it to the fullest. In a recent interview, hear what Khabib had to say. One thing that's very, very beautiful in this world. When you don't like somebody, you go inside the cage, you smash him, and the promotion gives you money. Outside of the cage, if you do this, you go to jail. I was waiting for this moment for so long. I find that I can not only fight, I can talk too. I used this moment to enjoy, like the way you go to Maldives. Same thing, it was my vacation. Following his dominant win, Khabib famously jumped over the octagon fence and kickstarted one of the wildest brawls in UFC history. Security rushed in to prevent things from completely spiraling out of control. When asked later about his decision to leap over the cage and extend the vacation right after submitting McGregor, Khabib didn't hold back his thoughts and said, "It was a very emotional moment. It was very emotional, and yeah, I don't think it was a good thing, a good example. Sometimes we never know how we're going to act if something happens. You can sit, watch, eat popcorn, and you can judge people, oh, this guy is bad, this guy is not bad. But when you're going to be in this place in that time and day, you never know how you're going to act. People ask me, do you regret? That's how I'm going to answer the question." Khabib reveals the impact of losing his father. After defeating McGregor, Khabib only stepped into the octagon 2 more times. Following his second title defense against Justin Gaethje, he announced his retirement. The main reason, Khabib revealed in a recent interview, was the passing of his father and coach, Umar Nurmagomedov, due to COVID just months before the fight, and the promise to his mother. He explained that losing his father made continuing in the sport impossible. Otherwise, Khabib said he would have likely kept fighting into his 30s and beyond, still at the top of his game.
It was not only mother, it was all situation what happened. You know, everything come together. And yeah, sometimes I saw like a lot of rumors why I retired, because of that, because of this. And I think if my father still alive, he will make me fight a little bit longer. Like, because just from 32 I'm finished. But he passed away, rahimahullah, and it was a very honest and good conversation with me, you know. And it's hard to explain, you know. Everything happened so fast.
Khabib gives his thoughts about Umar Nurmagomedov's future. Khabib Nurmagomedov also recently shared his thoughts on the future of his cousin, Umar Nurmagomedov, following Umar's win over Mario Bautista. At UFC 321, Umar got back in the win column with an impressive victory, overcoming some adversity along the way. Many now see his next step as a potential clash, with the winner of UFC 323's main event between Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan for the bantamweight title. Of course, first things first, Umar has to keep proving why he deserves that spot. Patience has always been a part of the Nurmagomedov family game plan, as Khabib knows well from his own journey to the UFC lightweight championship. In a recent interview, Khabib offered his perspective on what lies ahead for Umar and how he should navigate the path toward a title shot.
It's a good question. It's a good question, honestly. It's a very good question. If somebody asks me like, coach, what you want? I want both of them. I really want, before Umar finishes career, he fight with Merab and Pereira, you know, because this is these 2 fighters on top of this game of this division, and I really want Umar fight with Pereira, Merab Dvalishvili, and Sean O'Malley, these 3 guys.
Dana White slams Mark Zuckerberg haters. Mark Zuckerberg has been training seriously in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over the past few years, and not just for fun. He's actually competed in real tournaments and even won some of them. But recently, Mike Perry stirred up some controversy by questioning those victories, claiming that Zuckerberg only wins because he bribes his competitors. Well, those comments didn't sit well with Dana White at all. The UFC boss fired back hard at Perry, making it clear that he wasn't going to let those accusations slide.
He trains and MMA, he surfs, he does all this shit. You know, everybody, Zuckerberg will beat the shit out of you, okay? Everybody thinks he's some, you know, some computer nerd. Mark Zuckerberg will beat the living shit out of you. All these guys that talk stuff about him on the internet.
Maybe we'll actually see Mark Zuckerberg make his UFC debut at the White House card, because if the Facebook founder wants it, Dana White would probably make it happen. But interestingly, one man who's been begging to be on that same card is none other than the GOAT himself, Jon Jones. The problem is that Dana doesn't seem too eager to grant him that spot, but Jones has his backers. Francis Ngannou wants to fight Jon Jones at White House. Francis Ngannou parted ways with the UFC in 2022 over contractual disputes, leaving a highly anticipated super fight with Jon Jones on hold. But he hasn't completely closed the door on that matchup. Ngannou believes that if Dana White were to arrange a cross-promotional fight against Jones, even hypothetically at the White House, it could go down as one of the biggest fights in MMA history.
Biggest fight of all time can only happen with Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou. That's all what I can say about that. No disrespect for other fights or for other fighters. I think I respect all the fight and all the fighters, regardless of if they fight the main card or prelim or whatever or wherever. You know, I think great fights still happen everywhere. You know, I became a weight champion in the Apex, so with no crowd. So I respect fight as long as it's a fight. People putting in. You know, it's not about the place, but if you want to say biggest of all time, you make it biggest.
And in the White House, it would definitely be the biggest.
Yeah.
A fight between Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou is extremely unlikely under the current circumstances. Ngannou is signed with the PFL, and the UFC would never allow a rival promotion to benefit from what could be their biggest card ever. So the idea of Ngannou fighting at the White House is practically impossible. What isn't impossible, however, is a Conor McGregor show, provided he navigates his ongoing legal troubles. Big update on Conor McGregor Artem Lobov whiskey battle. Conor McGregor's legal battle with his former sparring partner, Artem Lobov, over the proper No. 12 whiskey brand has been postponed and is unlikely to be heard until next year due to a key witness's serious health issues. Lobov claims he was involved in establishing and setting up the brand, which McGregor later sold to Proximo Spirits in 2021 for $600 million, reportedly pocketing $130 million from the deal. The dispute was originally scheduled for a December hearing, but McGregor's lawyers informed the court that a critical witness would be unable to give evidence because of illness. Justice Brian Cregan agreed to vacate the hearing and requested medical documentation regarding the witness's condition. Assuming the certificate is provided, the case is expected to be rescheduled for March or April next year. The case has already seen delays and complications. Lobov initially claimed the agreement occurred in September 2017, but McGregor insisted he was in Ibiza at that time. Lobov later discovered evidence showing the meeting actually took place on October 9, 2017, forcing the previous hearing to be vacated and allowing him to amend his claim, a move McGregor's team opposed but which the court approved. The outcome of this case could have significant financial and reputational implications for both parties. For now, the dispute remains in limbo, awaiting the witness's recovery and a new court date, keeping the spotlight on McGregor's business dealings and his ongoing legal battles. Brandon Royval doesn't want to fight at White House, Sean Strickland agrees. Now, while McGregor and Jon Jones would love to compete at White House, Brandon Royval isn't too excited about it. Former UFC title challenger Brandon Royval recently went on a wild rant when asked if he wanted to fight at the White House.
Fighting at the fucking White House. I want to fight in front of big crowds, bro. It's like, how big can the White House even like have of a stadium? That's like, is that shit outside too? It's like,
I'm pretty sure it's only going to be like invited people, so it's not going to be like true MMA fans. I love that. Yeah. I love that answer.
Yeah, bro. I don't give a fuck about any of our political figures right now, and it's like to fight in front of them just seems like some fucking Hunger Games type of fucking shit. Of like, I don't give a fuck to fight in front of a bunch of fucking billionaires and rich people that fucking can shit less about me and probably throwing parlays. It's like, fuck you guys. I want to fight in front of people that are Raw Dog fans, are fans of MMA, and like, you know, that are like, that could relate to me. It's like, I'm not trying to fight with these fucking assholes. Like, you know, fuck all these politicians. So, in my opinion, like, I don't give a fuck about impressing any politicians. I don't care about the presidents. None of them. I really don't fucking want to go fight in the White House, if I'm being honest. And honestly, I'm too Mexican looking. The ICE is fucking suspiciously arresting motherfuckers, and like, I don't know. Who knows, bro? Next thing you know, I'm in Mexico. I don't even speak Spanish and shit.
Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland threw his support behind Brandon Royval's viral rant about fighting at the White House, sharing his thoughts in a pair of tweets that read, "It will just be the boys' club and political elites, but I hope I'm wrong. I'd fight on it, but I get what he is saying. He's 100% right. Bryce Mitchell calls out Sean O'Malley. Bryce Mitchell is targeting Sean O'Malley for his next fight, and he thinks it just makes sense. Mitchell is coming off a solid decision win over said Nurmagomedov in his UFC bantamweight debut and is eager for a bigger challenge. He feels he's earned a matchup with a top 10 opponent, and in his eyes, a fight with O'Malley would be perfect. Not only is it a high-stakes bout, but it's also one of the most exciting matchups the bantamweight division could offer right now. Mitchell is ready to prove himself against the flashy striker, believing this fight could elevate his career and finally put him in the spotlight he's been chasing.
The best matchup they could possibly make would be City Boy versus Country Boy, O'Malley versus Mitchell. I think that's the biggest fight. And I just think that's the biggest fight. That's my biggest potential opponent would be O'Malley. If anybody was me and they look at the lineup of the division, they ought to take O'Malley as a serious threat. He's very good.
O'Malley is coming off back-to-back losses against Merab Dvalishvili in his bid for the bantamweight title, which means he'll likely need a few wins to climb back into contention. O'Malley's coach Tim Welch is eyeing a return in January, but he didn't take Mitchell's name when asked about potential opponents.
Hopefully in January. Hopefully, yeah, in January. We're kind of keeping him ready. He just got done sparring right now, so starting to get his body ready to go for a battle.
Okay, 135?
135, yep.
If it was up to you, who's he fighting?
I mean, gosh, there's a bunch of fights that could happen, but I really want, if things work out the way they should work out and Suge gets to fight for the title again in the warehouse, you got Song Yadong, who's a great match. That would be an exciting fight. You got the Zahabi kid. The Zahabi kid. He beat Pedro Munoz. He beat Jose Aldo. He beat Chito Vera. And I think that's another exciting fight that we could look really good in. We could look really...
Bryce Mitchell, while eager to face O'Malley, isn't sure if that fight is realistic right now. He knows he might need 1 or 2 more wins before he can step into the octagon with someone of O'Malley's caliber. Still, Mitchell hasn't given up on the idea. He's hoping the matchup happens because, in his eyes, a fight with Suga would be huge not just for him, but for the bantamweight division as a whole. Do you agree with Bryce Mitchell? So those were all the big stories from today. If you've got any thoughts or opinions about what went down, drop them in the comments below, because we'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.